Welcome back, guys. Happy New Year. Today we are creating 3 awesome album covers based on my friend's random thoughts. Let's dive in, shall we? For our first album cover, I messaged my bro Osamui to recommend a cool name and he came up with Grandeur. Immediately after hearing this, my initial thought was to make something really cool and fancy. Something like those Rococo interior artworks in France. But I trashed the idea because I basically suck at interior designs and I had a way better idea. So the word grandeur, according to Google, means this. So my idea was to put a guy, probably the artist, and a bunch of people reaching out to him to express his importance or status. In other words, the guy is grandeur. So to start this, we need a model, which was this guy. And since I'm planning to edit this solely in black and white, it makes the work quite easier. Now, first of all, we're adding a dark background simply with a solid color adjustment layer. Then we darken the edges and add some fog with our fog brush. Now I can add my main character. I'm adding some bunch of shadows and light to give it the direction of light that I want. I did this using exposure adjustment layer and curves. Next, I added my first hand. Then added some shadows to it using the levels adjustment layer. Now I'm masking out some areas to reveal light. We'll be doing this for every other hand we are adding. We're just going to skip that part. A good point to note is to be consistent with your source of light when you're painting. It makes the work more realistic. And now we have something like this. Then we're going to darken everywhere outside the subject. This is to lure the viewer eyes to the contrast in the subject. Then we'll add a bit of light to really sell the light direction, some little color grading, and now we have this. Osamui Men's Grandeur as an album cover. I really like this one, think it came out pretty cool, and I think the concept fits the vibe. Now, album number 2 is quite a funny one. My friend at Prince John gave the title Sanity. Let's see what I can cook up. For this one, the main idea was to put a character in the mental asylum, and the guy can be doing something pretty weird like admiring a butterfly. So to start off, we need to make a white room similar to the ones in mental hospitals or torture chambers. After that, I thought it would be pretty good to give it a window light source and a teal and orange color grade. To do this, I used the levels and curve adjustment layers to darken some parts and the color balance adjustment layer to give it my desired color grade. Now we have this. Next, I added a broken mirror to the scene. Just felt like it matched the cover pretty well. Next, I added a tap and the sink. Then to make the room look old and abandoned, I used the rough texture brush to paint some muddy green color on a new layer set to soft light. Now that that's done, I merged the background, blurred it a little bit and added a bed to the scene. After that, I added our character to the scene, blended it by adjusting the light and color. After that, I decided to cage our main guy's head. To do this, I simply sketched the idea on Photoshop and used distort and a shiny metal image to make the cage. Just by pressing Ctrl T, you can access distort, and by dragging the corners of your image, you can adjust the perspective. Pretty cool, right? Then I used the chain brush to paint some chain to the caged head. Lastly, I added some butterflies, color graded it, and added an RGB split. And now here's the final result. Prince John's Sanity. I honestly don't like this one. I feel like somewhere along the line it went bad, though it isn't that bad, but certainly not my best work. Now for the last one on our list, we have a rather funny album name for my bro Ojibu, titled
Let be poor, breathe. Don't suffocate them.
And I think I have the best idea for this. For this, we're going to do an illustration. The idea is simple. First, we need a very tired man. For this, I took some reference images online to aid my sketch. I'm basically just looking for general traits between tired people and adding it to my sketch. After the sketch was finished, next is to make the line art. For me, this is just a smoother version of the initial sketch. Then I fill the layers with some flat colors. For beginners in illustration, I find it easier to download and use an already made skin color palette. This will make you have more accurate skin colors. So now I'm going to be using this skin palette. Now it's time to render our work. I'm going to be painting some light and shadows while keeping the basic forms of the human face to get a more accurate look. Although I have nearly zero knowledge of anatomy, my days of looking at myself in the mirror paid off here. And now we have this. Next part is to make some debit ribbons. Here I painted a random shape with my brush tool, something like this. And to give it the illusion that it's a ribbon, I need to paint some ambient occlusion to the narrowest part of the ribbons. So if this point overlaps this other point, I'll make a shadow that is casted from the top one onto the bottom one. This took quite some time and now we are left with this. Next is the text. To do this, I used the pen tool to create some path along the ribbons I painted, and then I just typed on the path I made. I made sure the text is under the shadow layer and I marked the places it overlapped. And now we have this. Then I duplicated it and scattered it to make it look much, and I added it to our illustration. And this is what we have now. Last part was to add the text. I wrote the title and added it behind my illustration. Not gonna lie, this is giving me some Bugs Baby vibes. After some final touches, we have this. Now this is something I like. Ujebu's Let the Poor Breathe. Well, that's all for today, guys. Be sure to give the video a thumbs up, leave a comment on your favorites. Don't forget you can learn professional photo manipulation by simply getting our course. And I'll see you guys whenever. Bye for now.